Hello! Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're doing well. Just want to say big ups to the support on the channel, basically. Sorry, just struggling to get words out. I'm sorry for missing out on yesterday. Figured I should say that too on here. Just some crazy stuff happened yesterday. Stuff that can be predicted and stuff I couldn't really not be there for. But it's all cool. And I'm ready to talk about City. I really wanted to talk about City yesterday, but yesterday just got crazy. So here we are. Big ups to everyone who is tuning in. We're going to look into KDB's farewell. I have looked into it already. Well, I watched a video on it. Watched the video of him saying goodbye and whatnot. It's a shame. It really is. You know, I didn't want KDB to go. I thought he still had more time. But it is what it is, I feel. To be honest. It is what it is, and we've just got to deal with it. You know, we're not going to get bits, but at least at the bare minimum for KDB. He's going to be getting a statue, which is confirmed now. You know, like official. So it's great to see that he's going to have a statue at the ground. I think everyone agrees that he deserves that much for his contributions at City. You know, so many, countless amounts of assists. You know, over 100 goals for the Blues as well. So. Debs says, Frost Fury, welcome to the stream. What does Debs mean? We got United Tottenham tonight. Probably not going to be watching it on here, but we might touch on it, depending on how long this stream goes on for. Now then, at the bare minimum for KDB, I wasn't there for his final game, but I will be there for... Well, I wasn't there for his final home game, but I will be there for his final game against Fulham at Craven Cottage to hopefully seal top 5 for us. Doesn't matter. All right, big ups Frost. Hopefully it'll seal top 5 for us. Yeah, but hopefully it's going to seal top 5 for us because it needs to. Apparently, if what I read was correct, we only actually need a draw to guarantee top 5. So let's have a look here. Yeah, we draw, we get top 5 because we draw on 69 points. These guys can only get 68. Now then, unless these 3 teams, Newcastle need to score 5 to break our goal difference. Chelsea, we need to score 7 to break our goal difference as opposed to match it. And Aston Villa would need to score 18. So, yeah, a draw does guarantee us the El Clasico, yeah. This is going to be quite the game, isn't it? It's going to be one of those where it's either like horrendously boring or just ridiculously entertaining, in my opinion. So, you know, we're going to have to wait and see, aren't we? Yeah, but look, top 5, it's basically assured now. We're not quite there yet, but we're in a very good position, is what we can say. You know, look, a little bit nerve-wracking. I really want Forest to get Champions League because I really like Forest. It'd be a great way for them to end the season too, a home win. But they haven't won at home since. Oh, look. Since the 1st of April, you know? So they could really use They could really use a win here, I feel. Forest, it would be a great way to end off their season, and it would mean that they get top 5, which is, I want them to get top 5. Looking for a Song Heung-min hat trick. Yeah, that would be something, wouldn't it? Be one way to get your first trophy at Tottenham. How long has he been there now? He's been there for a while. Kovacic suffering persistent heel bone problem with pain in recent City games. The midfielder is now going to decide whether to undergo surgery, which would solve the issue, but could mean missing the next Croatia camp and City's Club World Cup campaign through a 2 to 3 month recovery. If I was Kova, I'm getting that surgery now. 2 to 3 month recovery. He can't play against Fulham, so we don't need to worry about that. 2 to 3 month recovery. Gets it now. Okay, let's say he gets it tomorrow. 3 months, that is roughly, he'll be back mid-late August. If I'm him, I'm doing that, to be honest. Big up Connex's Kyle W11. Big ups, Kyle. Since 2015. Yeah, he's been at Tottenham a while. I knew that much. But yeah. Yeah, if I'm Kova, get that stuff. The lads are mentally drained from this season. I believe everyone needs the right time to discover. There'll be a competition coming up. It's going to be a funny one. Some clubs will take it more seriously, but I know Man City and the club will definitely take it seriously. Phil Foden quotes here. It's a difficult situation. We'll start here, actually. Been a frustrating season for me. I've had a lot going on off the pitch mentally. It's one of them. Sometimes there's things bigger than life in football. This season I've struggled a little. Hopefully come next year I can get my head mentally right to get back where I left off last season, because I know what I'm capable of and the quality I have. I know if everything was okay, I'd definitely be on the field. I'd definitely be better on the field. Sometimes things happen, you have to deal with it, move on. Unfortunately, I've had a difficult season. Now it's time about improving and getting back to my best. I know my standards and what I can reach. I'm looking forward to getting back. Watching this from my Lamborghini, but I need to charge my phones with my helicopter, so got to dip. Wow. Enjoy your helicopter ride then, bro. Managed to play for my ligaments done against Man United, the kind of person I am. Try to play on anything. I remember how much pain I felt when the adrenaline died. I missed the next game or two. Came back to training quite early. A lot of people don't know what's going on. Ankle pain, playing over the last couple of months. Some people don't see what's going through. It's frustrating because I know it's been hard to get right. You need time to heal, but me being me, I should just come on the pitch as soon as possible. Maybe I've come back too early. It's what I'm like. I feel a lot better now and can really push on. I've really needed a few weeks off without playing to fully heal. And obviously I can't go. It's a bit frustrating to play with niggles. It's getting better and stronger each day. Yeah, well, I like that he is obviously clear that it's not been a good season from him. Obviously, he's making that clear. He knows that he's below par this season, much like the rest of the squad too. And yeah, look, if he's got mental problems due to things off the pitch, then absolutely take what he deems the necessary time off to get through that. Because I'd rather Phil Foden in the right headspace, fully prepped, fully where he needs to be mentally. Okay, no little injuries, no niggles, no knocks, no nothing. and be back to where he was. Lots of transfer rumours here. Callum Doyle saying that a permanent move is the next step. Don't think anyone's surprised. I did think he looked solid, to be fair, in pre-season. But I'm fairly... Look, we got Juma Bar, Vital Hayes, and Kusanov as our young centre-backs. I don't think there is any room for him, to be honest. So that is probably the best move. And I think he knows that too. I think he's looking at the January signings we made like, okay, there isn't really any room for me. McAtee, no surprise. Lots of inquiries from Bundesliga. And yeah, why wouldn't he? He's clearly a top player. He can clearly play regularly in most leagues for certain teams. So, yeah, I'm not surprised that he's had Bundesliga inquiries. Leverkusen, very clearly still interested. Next step will depend on the manager. Man City exit remains possible with Premier League clubs monitoring him. Now then, hello Connect, my apprentice. 17 King says Frost Fury. Yes, the GOAT, Kevin De Bruyne. Welcome to the chat, DC3K. Me, your apprentice. I ain't so sure about that one. But yeah, the Forest team expect Gibbs White to leave this summer. And yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised. For me, it is that like time that a player like Gibbs White moves on, because he joined in City's treble season, okay, and was pretty good. Everyone knew that he was pretty solid there. Everyone rated him to a certain respect. Okay, but no one went in to sign him because it was one season. No point to make such a gamble. I don't think Forest were willing to let go such a key player at that time. I want to sign Kirkes. Hey, we did get linked with them, but Liverpool been linked with them too, and they've had stronger links than we have. So if City want him, then we've got to crack on soon, because Kirkes is a man wanted by another Premier League club, not just City. We need to present our project and see if we can get him on our side. But look, Gibbs White, I think he's a solid player. Okay, I think he's a solid player. My problem has always been whether he can replace KDB. Okay, I don't know if he can. I really don't. Now then, look, he's definitely not a bad player. His first season with Forest, he got 13 goal contributions. Okay, which for a newly promoted team, very good, by the way. Last season, a team fighting for relegation, 16 goal contributions. Again, very good. I'd like you to remember. Very, very solid. And this season, we click on here, 17 goal contributions. 10 assists and 7 goals. That's not bad. That is solid, to be fair. Those are good numbers, no doubt. I think the problem is Gibbs White is going... What's your view on Wirtz? Where's he going? He's not coming to us, is the long and short of that. But look, it's looking like he's going to go to Bayern. I don't think he'll go to Liverpool. Because I know that we've come off here looking like cheapskates, but I think Liverpool like to be even cheaper than us. They don't tend to go big. The biggest they've gone recently is Darwin Núñez, and I can't think of anything else. You could say Alisson and Van Dijk, but they only did those big deals because they sold Felipe Coutinho for a ridiculous amount of money, which allowed them to spend all that cash on him. So, for me, I think he's going to go to Bayern. that much is seemingly clear. He's a good player, It's a brilliant player, and he's very much on the way out by the looks of it, and going to Bayern, and it's not going to us, but it seems to. Don't want to go to Madrid or Liverpool. No, neither do I. I don't think he's going to go to Liverpool. Again, Liverpool, they don't like to go big. They really don't. And they're already they're looking to spend a solid amount of money without really making profit this summer. Frimpong, that's 35 million. Kirkez, you're probably looking similar, maybe a bit more. Those that instantly they're losing about at least 60 million, probably more closer to 70 at the bare minimum for those two fullbacks. And they're going to want a striker. I understand, but unless Liverpool have got an absolute war chest, which I don't think they do, their midfield's already packed, and I know no one would say no to Florian Wirtz. Their midfield's already packed, like you've just said, and they very clearly need help in other areas. Okay, they've improved their fullback positions. Okay, right back, Trent obviously left. They replaced him with Frimpong. Left back, Robertson has dropped off, and they probably don't deem Tsimikas good enough. So they're bringing in Kirkez, who's had a great season at Bournemouth. They need a new striker. They're losing Darwin Núñez. They're going to want a new striker that can actually play every game. Diogo Jota too injury prone. They need a striker. I doubt they're going to sign Florian Wirtz unless they fancy no striker and they want to go for false nine. And that can always happen, but it doesn't strike me as them. And hey, I've heard that that Liverpool may even want a centre back too. I've seen that in a couple of areas. Come on, you Spurs, as Talsifu saying. Big ups, bro. Yeah, man, it'd be meant to see Tottenham win this, wouldn't it? It'd mean no trophies for Man United, meaning they miss out on Champions League football, which is always brilliant. And Tottenham would have a season where they got more trophies than Arsenal. Liverpool moving greedier than Real Madrid at this point. How did KDB miss that open goal? I don't even know, man. I don't even know. But look, to wrap up on Gibbs White. What I'll say about Gibbs White is I actually think he's going to perform well at City if he joins us, and it's looking likely that he probably will. I think Gibbs White will come to Man City, and I think he'll do a good job. I just don't know how good he's going to be. Now, what I will say is, okay, going back over to this, he's got 17 goal contributions, and this is a team that isn't... They're not like anti-football, park the bus, okay, but they aren't the most attacking team ever. They aren't. They in the top 10, they've got the second least goals, tied second least goals with Villa. But also in the top 10, they've got one of the better defences with 45 goals conceded. That's better than Villa. That's just worse than ours. We've got 44 goals conceded. It's better than Newcastle, and it's not better than Arsenal or Liverpool. So again, solid defence, but they do that goals, and there are teams that are lower than them that score more goals than them. Brighton 62, Brentford 65. Looking at Tottenham was 63. Okay, they just can't keep goals out of their own net. So they don't score a ton of goals. Okay, and I think that partly comes down to the way they play. So Morgan Gibbs White, I think he could cook at City. But again, I just don't know if he's going to manage to do it to KDB. I mean, got to remember the pressure it takes joining Man City. And what I will say is don't give him number 17. Don't give him 17. Okay, don't give him that. Give him a number. Okay, give him a completely different number. and let him roll with that. Okay, you give number 17 to anyone now, and you are asking them for the pressure of KDB's boots. Okay, that's how people are going to look at it. And I personally wouldn't. Prediction for the UEL. I think United might win, I just don't rate Tottenham. I really don't. And I don't rate United either. But I think Tottenham are worse. And I think United are better in Europe somehow. I think United are going to win. Not by much. It's not going to be pretty. But I just think they're better than Tottenham. I know Tottenham have beaten them this season. But yeah, I think somehow United are better in Europe this season than they are in the Premier League. I don't know how it works, but they are. Score prediction. I think it'll be 3-2 to Man United, but I'm hoping for a Tottenham win. Do not take that prediction as who I'm supporting. But moving on from Gibbs White, again, Forest hope for about 70 mil. I don't doubt that that's going to be what'll happen. De Bruyne answering questions. Kante and Fabinho, very difficult to play against. KDB here again. Yeah, and that really covers KDB's exit. Look, I think everyone is going to miss KDB. For the bulk of my time supporting City's been in it, and he's easily amongst the very best of this club, in my opinion. But yeah, he's a special player, De Bruyne, and I think he'll always have a place in every single City fan's heart. But look, for me, we can still give him another extra little send-off against Fulham. Fulham forms a bit up and down. Hopefully, though, we can give KDB one final win at the away from home to do the trick and give him one final clap off before he makes his move to what seems to be Napoli or Chicago town, I think. One of them, maybe a different club will get involved, but it's looking like one of them. But anyway, look, thank you to everyone who tuned in. I do appreciate the support. I'm really sorry about missing yesterday's stream, but sadly, it was unavoidable. What happened? But look, big ups to everyone who tuned in. I do appreciate the support, as per usual. It's always brilliant. And I will see you all in the next one.